So as it stands now, I've paid £700 for a scrap car. Morning guys, good news is it's Friday. Bad news is I might have viewings at the weekend and still have to come in. Good news is I might sell a car at the weekend. Bad news is I might not sell a car at the weekend and lose my weekend coming out to work for no reason. Anyway, so you might be able to tell I've upgraded my GoPro. I've bought a media mod, which is like a multi-directional microphone that attaches to the camera. So even when the camera's facing away from myself, you should still be able to hear me clearly. Did a deal yesterday, made a little Peugeot 107 with 100,000 miles on the clock, 61 plate. I didn't think I got any footage of that, but I bought it for 500 quid from a customer. Went for it for an MOT with a few little bits, like I think you need a tyre, serviced it, it was just to clean up for sale. Had it up for I think 2 grand, don't quote me on the numbers, but they traded in. It was a cashback deal, this one. I like the look of this. I'm going to do a little video on this one. It's a Skoda Fabia VRS in bright green. It is also an automatic, so I think it's worth about 5 grand. I gave £2,800 for it, so I think I gave the customer back about 800 quid or something like that. But yeah, it owes me 2,800 quid. It is also an automatic. Really cool interior. Yeah. Oh, also updated Pioneer touchscreen, sat-nav, head unit. Yeah, I'm gonna get this clean. There's a few little scratches. Again, I don't think I'd paint that. I'll buff it down and then give it a get a touch-up pen on it. So we're back in the Skoda Fabia VRS. I've taken this home for the weekend. Now, reason being, anything that comes in that's remotely sporty, I will always take it for do at least sort of 30, 40, 50 miles in it. Because, of course, if any car's going to have been tampered with, it's something like this. I'm impressed. It's only a 1.4 petrol. It's a TSI, which is turbo stratified injection. This thing's quick and it's noisy. It's really noisy, as you can probably hear. Just coming to a roundabout now, so as soon as we get this roundabout, I'll put it in sport mode and we'll have a listen to it. So yeah, let's go. Let's make sure we've got a bit of space. Let's go. If I was 10 years younger, I would absolutely love this car. I mean, I do anyway, but it's just not practical with kids and dogs and all that kind of thing. But this is cool. This is really cool. I'm not a massive fan of the DSG gearboxes, but this one is really smooth, to be honest. Seamless sort of through the gears. I've got a bulb out. Aside from that, I really can't fault this car. Really can't fault it. I can't imagine it's particularly good on fuel, but for somebody it's a cool car. The only thing I will do before I sell this, I will check it. I'll have it checked for a map, because everything I sell, I want to be able to say it's standard. So I don't know. I've not driven one of these before, so I'm not sure if this is how they actually drive or whether it's had a map. I wouldn't be surprised if it had, but equally, I'm really not sure. So partway through my little test drive, I got a call come through. Somebody already wants to come and view this Skoda Fabia, so I'm going to nip into work with it and see if we can get a deposit on it. I'm sticking it through the wash now, and we'll see how we get on. Just got home. I definitely jinxed it. I had 2 viewings. I had one on the Skoda Fabia VRS and one on a Corsa I had up for sale. The Corsa turned up, started it up, told me the engine sounded terrible. I asked him why he thought it sounded terrible, and he just said, nope, it just sounds terrible. So I don't know what his problem was, but I know the engine's okay, so that's fine. I'd rather him leave it. You often find customers like that. If they think they know better, it's just going to give you more headaches down the line, so I'd rather the right person buy it. Skoda Fabia turned up, said, love it, it's bright green, love everything about it, but it's tiny, isn't it? Yeah, Fabias are quite small. Yeah, 3 kids, not going to work, so yeah, that's an hour and a half, no, more than that, 2.5 hours of my day gone, but that's just part of the trade, isn't it? On to the next one. So for those of you that have been following the channel, you'll remember this Fiat 500. I took this in as a part exchange with the understanding that the instrument cluster wasn't working. When you first get in the car, you've got clocks, as you can see, so you've got just the time flashing because the battery's been disconnected, and the mileage. Now, if I start this up, okay, it's stayed on, but if you look at the revs, as I rev it up, you've got nothing, and now the clocks have died completely. I've come across this before. The clocks do go faulty on these, so I was fairly certain this was what the issue was going to be. In the meantime, I took the clocks off of the car, I took them to Pelican Diagnostics, who specialise in instrument cluster repairs and module repairs. However, they found that these clocks weren't actually faulty in this instance. I then took the car up to his unit so that he could try another set of clocks on the vehicle, and they also didn't work, even though he knew that those clocks were fully functional. So this confirmed that the car is the problem. I then took the car to another electrical specialist who chose not to be named, who had a look into it, and they couldn't get to the bottom of what was going on with this car. So as it stands now, I've paid £700 for a scrap car. I've got one last lifeline, and that is Electromech, who specialise in car electrical repairs, and they're actually on my industrial estate. They're usually booking 2 weeks ahead. However, I've spoken to the owner, Nath, who's a good friend of mine, and he said he's going to try and squeeze it in this week to have a look at it, but can't promise he'll be able to do anything with it because he hasn't come across this fault before. So my fingers are crossed, otherwise this car is destined for the scrapyard. So I like it when this happens, right? So I've had a customer call over the weekend and basically just asked the question, have you got any automatics in stock? She can only drive automatics because she's got a bad shoulder. And the spec she gave me, I don't have anything in stock. Now, I've just had a call from one of my friends whose mum's selling a car, and it just happens to be a Ford B-Max automatic. So I'm hoping, I'm gonna go buy that now. I've agreed £3 grand on it, it's worth about 5.5. If the car's tidy and I take it away, hopefully I can get someone in on it tomorrow, and then we might have to strike some deal there, so basically I've deal sourced the car effectively. But yeah, let's go have a look at this B-Max and see what we think. Hi Jackie, it's Ben from My Next Vehicle Pro. You okay?
Hello, yes I'm fine, thank you. You?
Good, I'm fine, thanks. I'm just on my way to pick up that B-Max now, so I'll get it validated first thing tomorrow. Were you interested in coming to view it at all?
Whereabouts are you?
We're...
Are you Monks Road?
Monks Road, yeah.
Monks Road. Right, are you there all the time, or are you sort of like hit and miss?
No, we're there 9 till 5 Monday to Friday, and then a weekend's appointment only, but...
Right, I'll see if I can get on Wednesday.
Yeah, perfect. I'll make sure it's ready for you, Jackie.
Can you just text me over the address?
Of course I will, I'll do that now. Alright, Jackie?
Right.
No, it's no problem at all.
Hopefully I'll see you Wednesday, if not Thursday.
Hopefully see you Wednesday.
Lovely.
Thanks.
You very much.
No worries, Ellen, bye.
Bye, bye.
Another thing,
It's been sat for a while, so it's
like bonnet fucked as well.
it's been charged.
No, so her son lives in Yorkshire. Her husband just died. Yeah. This is his car. Yeah. And he come and look round it.
So I'm back at the forecourt. I did buy the B-Max. It's just starting to absolutely hammer it down, so I ain't going to be long. I'm happy with it. I've got it valeted. It's up for sale. Like I said, I paid £3 grand for it. Bodywork's pretty tidy, to be honest. I gave it a quick polish, quick valet. It's up for sale. We'll see if it goes on Friday. So I'm going to take a look at this Honda CR-V that we picked up for 250, not Honda CR-V, Honda Accord that I picked up for 250 quid. And the first thing I'm going to address is the paint. So we've got the damage to this door, which is just lacquer peel. And then on this rear bumper, again, lacquer peel. We've got a bit of filler work here. Looks as though, the way it's cracked there, looks as though it might have been filled before. Just some general sort of stuff. And I'm probably going to spray this. Probably end up spraying the whole bumper on this one. Not spraying, but painting, but re-lacquering after I've repaired it. But this door, I'm going to try something I've seen a couple of other YouTubers do, where rather than, usually on this, I'd take all this edging off, I'd sort of take it back a bit and repaint it as well. I've seen a few YouTubers just sort of feather out this lacquer peel and then just put a fresh coat of clear coat across it. I'm going to give that a go, and I'll show you what the results are like. I'm not very confident. This looks like the wrong colour, but then at the same time, I know when I'm painting, sometimes when I've just got the base coat on, sometimes it doesn't look like it's the right colour. So, let's see what happens. As I suspected, within 20 seconds of sanding the lacquer peel, I've already taken the paint off, so let's have a quick look. So that there, this is, bear in mind, 1500 grit sandpaper, which is the lightest sandpaper I have. It's not really done much for this lacquer peel, but it has, the bit that was exposed has already taken the paint off, so I am going to sort of feather this lacquer peel out into the panel and we are going to paint this top strip. So let's get to it. Oh, and if anyone knows what I'm doing wrong, if there is a way to get away with not having to redo the paint as well, if there is a way to get rid of that lacquer peel and just put a fresh clear coat on it, then let me know in the comments, guys. So that's all the lacquer peel sanded off and blended out. The next thing I need to do is apply a couple of coats of primer. After that, I tackle the lacquer peel on the rear bumper using the same technique as I did on the door, taking a 1500 grit sandpaper and wet sanding off the flaky edges. Next, I turn my attention to this bumper corner. As you've probably seen in some of the previous clips, it's a bit cracked. I'm using an air gun sander, if that's what you call them, to basically blitz off any loose sort of bumper or filler. And as you see, as I sand it back, it is actually full of filler, so it's definitely been repaired in the past. Once I've sanded it back as much as I can and all loose plastic or filler has been removed, I'll mix up some more filler and reshape that corner. Unfortunately, I forgot to reposition the camera, so here's a little video of my knees whilst I apply the filler. So what I've done here is I've not taken the paint right to the ends of the section. I'm not taking the primer right to the ends of the section I'm painting. Reason being is I'm going to obviously put fresh paint on this bit, but I'm only going to flick it ever so slightly out into this other paint, because this is the paint that will be meeting other panels. This bit obviously will meet down here, but you've got like a line in the bodywork, and your eye more than likely won't detect that sort of change in colour, whereas next to each of the panel to panel, it probably will. So that's why I've done it this way. What I need to do now is flat this down and flat this paint here with like, sort of like just a pad really, just to take off the shine, and then we can put some lacquer on that. So we're getting there, guys. It's looking better. Well, might not look better right now, but all the lacquer peel has been dealt with. There's a few areas here where I've just sanded out some of the deeper scratches. There's one ding up here which I've just put some filler on. I'm just going to wait for that to harden, then I'm going to sand that back. Then we're ready for a bit of primer. So this is where we're up to. That's all primer done now. Just needs, once it's dry, it needs flatten back. I've got the lamps on it just because it's so cold. I don't think it will dry. Well, it will dry, but take ages on its own. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I think it looks a lot better than it did. Probably not perfect. Probably if I was well, it definitely could look better if I was a professional painter, but for a car of this value and what it's come from, what it's going to look like afterwards, hopefully it's a vast improvement, and hopefully it's going to allow for a better sale price. This is quite different to my usual videos. I've gone into a lot more depth into my paint processes and stuff. If you're enjoying the content, please like and subscribe. It takes a second, it's free, and it allows me to keep doing this. I'm really enjoying it, so please support my journey, and I'll keep making you videos. Jobs like this, where it's quite a lot of paint to be done, I'll sometimes, to save me using up my paint kit, I'll sometimes use these little pots where they come pre-made. This is 100ml, and you'll see it says not thinned. So basically all I need to do is put 10% of a thinner in with it, and it goes straight in the gun. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do with this, just because obviously I've got this on the door, and I've got a fair bit to do on the bumper. I mean, looking at how much there actually is to do on that bumper, I'm wondering if 100ml is going to be enough, but we'll make it work, I'm sure. Another quick message for any of you guys that paint at home, make sure you check your mask. I went into my paint supplier, Fisher's, and basically said, look, can you just check when did I last have a mask? It was over a year ago. I asked them what the shelf life of one of these was. It was 40 hours of mask wearing, and it should be kept in a bag. Now, for whatever reason, I'm still fairly new to this paint stuff. I didn't realise I had to be kept in the bag, so had it a year. I've done way more than 40 hours of painting in it, and it's never been kept in the bag. So that mask was probably doing very little, and the fumes from lacquer are very dangerous. So yeah, you guys at home, check that you're using a mask using a mask to start with for definite, and make sure it's one that's still in date and still usable. So they sorted me out one of these. Now this one is a bit better than my old one. It's got disposable filters, so the filters that are on it last for 40 hours. Then they need changing as well. I've got a nice little carry case for it. Yeah, let's get it set up and I'll show you what it looks like. But yeah, so there's the main bit of mask, and that's the filters that I'm hoping they just clip into place. You see what that says? That says easy lock. It's not easy lock. It took me at least 2 minutes to get it on the mask, but we've got one on. Let's get it all on. In the morning. So the bumper looks great. I'm pleased with this as well, although I shouldn't have used, where is it, this foam tape underneath this whilst I was priming. So you can just see under here, I've got a thin line of primer that leaked through. That will flat out, so we'll do that later on. But the worst thing is, when I noticed last night as I was masking up, I've got a bloody bit of lacquer peel here as well. Gonna have to paint this boot lid as well, which is a shame, but never mind. So we've got quite a hard line on this boot lid here. I'm gonna try and mask up along this line and just do the top part of this boot lid.
Christmas time.
So for those of you that watched the last episode, you'll know that we had a bit of an ordeal getting this thing started. Hey! So whilst I waited for the lacquer on the boot lid to dry, I took this opportunity to put a new battery on the old girl. Guys, it's Friday, end of play. I'm about to head home. Nath from Electromet comes and flags me down. I think I've got some good news. I'm in the Fiat 500 and he thinks he might have fixed it. I don't want to turn the key, let's do it. It's looking hopeful, but sometimes I get clocks, and then as soon as I start to drive it, they go off. Happy days, my £700 car is not scrap. That's a bit of good news, and that's me going into the weekend with a smile on my face. We've got a viewing on a Toyota Aygo tomorrow, so I'll come in, let's see if the good luck continues and we get another sale. For those of you wondering how they fixed the Fiat 500, Nath has kind of taken the time to give us a more technical explanation of how they diagnosed and rectified this issue.
Hello Ben, you alright? Finally got 5 minutes to just jump on and go through it with you. So yeah, the 500, bit of a weird one that. Didn't matter what you did, it'd always be a different result sort of thing. You could open and close the door, it'd come on and go off. You know, you could be driving the vehicle, it'd start coming on and go off, or it'd be just completely dead. It weren't until we physically started testing it out that there was a negative supply on the multi-connector that goes into the back of the instrument cluster. Now, as you was physically testing it with your test probe, the negative sort of went from dim to bright. And as it went brighter, the instrument cluster then seemed to power on for a longer period of time. So yes, obviously spoke to you about it, had a look on auto data. There was a earth point 6, which is in the middle of the dashboard. Gave you the option, obviously, take the dash out and see where the loom's gone. Or obviously the option of running a separate earth supply to resolve the issue. There was no other issues with the vehicle at the time, just this one. So that's the option we went for. Hope that helps, Ben. See you on the next one.
Guys, I'm going to call it there. The BMAX customer didn't turn up, which is a shame, but I'll quickly show you my AutoTrader platform, which is where I list my vehicles. As you can see, it's performing really well, so I'm not worried about that selling. That'll be gone next week, I'm sure. I was going to do a rundown of the prices on what I spent on that Peugeot 308 that I painted in the first episode. I'm actually just going to post that on my Instagram, so make sure you follow them on there. Next week we've got the Honda Accord to finish prepping and get that up for sale. The Fiat 500 that is now fixed, I'm going to do a bit of paintwork on that as well. And yeah, if you could like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one.